Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. Hold on to your hold slots. We're talking 10 Cloverfield Lane. Alright, so this is a franchise movie, so before I get into the full review, let me tell you about my thoughts on the original Cloverfield movie. I love Cloverfield. I think it was great. I'm a huge fan of found footage movies, and this is one of the best done. I love some of the ideas that they went with. I love the marketing that we didn't know what was going on. It was just something attacked the city. You had no idea. And I love how it's a very small glimpse into a much larger picture. Usually in a kaiju movie or giant monster movie, it's taken place from the view of the monster or some scientist that knows what's going on, or basically people that know what's going on. I have never seen it, and I don't know if any other movies have done it. I'm not a monster movie. I'm not James Rolfe. I don't know all the giant monster movies. But I've never seen where it takes place from the people running around the streets. And I thought that was a really cool take on the idea that these people don't know what's going on. They're just trying to survive. They're just doing their thing. And it's how you would see it. Like, you wouldn't know what was going on if a monster attacked your city. You'd just be running. You don't know. And I thought that was great. And just a fantastic movie. It's got a lot of little nooks and crannies, like you can just tear it apart and come up with all these theories, and I love movies like that. I love not being given the answers, to come up with your own theories and ideas. It's just really good. I love it. One thing I think it's kind of funny to bring up, it's kind of cool, I think, but the people that had the most on-screen time and were sort of pushed, obviously not in the marketing, but pushed in the movie as kind of the stars, were the people that played Rob and Beth. I don't know what their names are, because they disappeared. They weren't the ones. But the people that ended up being big was, one, the guy behind the camera who you barely see at all is Colorado's own TJ Miller. And he steals the show with like his little quips and kind of just being the goofball guy and sort of like just being interesting and just throwing out little funny lines, because if you're that nervous, some people's switch when they get nervous is to be funny, and that's what it felt like. And he felt very real. He's moved the movie along a lot. He was really good in it, even though you never see him. It's fantastic. And the other person that kind of stole the show, at least for me, was Lizzie Kaplan, who was the other kind of comic relief and sarcastic one, and the didn't want to be there kind of person. And she did a really good job. It was fantastic. So these two people kind of stole the show in the first Cloverfield. And, they were the real unknowns at the time. And now they're both kind of big. TJ Miller's in Silicon Valley and Deadpool doing a great job. Lizzie Kaplan's been in True Blood and Masters of Sex and a few other movies. She's been around and doing cool stuff as well. But speaking of Lizzie Kaplan, which I just don't think I'd get a chance to talk about these two things, so I want to bring them up right now just to get them out there, because, I don't get to talk about these. First one is Masters of Sex is a really, really good show. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, and they should. It's really good, and maybe I'm just too in the nerd culture, and it doesn't fit in the nerds, so we don't talk about it. But yeah, check out Masters of Sex. It's a really, really good show. Fantastic. The other thing I want to talk about is Lizzie Kaplan. If you watch Masters of Sex, you would know this, and I guess if you saw the first season of True Blood, you'd know this as well. She has the most hypnotically perfect boobs ever. It's really interesting. Like, they're the most aesthetically and symmetrically perfect boobs I've ever seen. I can't show them here because it's YouTube, but it's a really easy Google search to check them out. But seriously, yeah, 5 stars, A+. Here's the Oscar for Best Boobs and a Pulitzer. Kids' Choice Award. Best Boobs. Hashtag Best Boobs. What the fuck was I even talking about? Oh yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane. So this was the secret movie that snuck up on us, which I love. And I think J.J. Abrams, who produced this movie, used Star Wars as a smokescreen to like distract us so he can secretly come out with this movie. He didn't direct. It's directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who I don't think... I've never seen anything he's directed. But J.J. Abrams produced it along with Matt Reeves, who directed the first Cloverfield. So it's a big ball of Cloverfield. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that in today's age, we know so much about movies before they come out. We just know everything about them. That this movie would just sneak out and no one knew nothing about it. Ooh, that's terrible English. Rewind. And no one knew anything about it. There we go. But so in that same vein, I'm not going to be giving any spoilers for a little bit. I'll give you plenty of warning when I hit spoilers. I'll put buttons up, to avoid spoilers so you can enjoy this movie fresh. But if you're just curious about what it is and what it's about and you still want to check it out, here's my spoiler-free section. And so enjoy. So the general story is, and you can all see this in the trailer, so it's not spoilers, it's about a man who abducts a woman and puts her in his bunker and tries to live with her, and they're living in this bunker in a possibly doomsday scenario. You don't know? You don't know? Alright. So that's all I can really talk about plot-wise. So since I really can't talk about the plot, I'm going to talk about the actors in the movie themselves. So the first big one, obviously, is John Goodman, who plays Howard. Howard is a doomsday survivalist guy. And he's really freaking good. This movie is a lot like Misery. So if you like Misery, you're going to like 10 Cloverfield Lane. And he is the Kathy Bates in this movie. He knows the most what's going on, and he's kind of crazy, but you don't know if he's crazy, and he's really does a good job where he's very pleasant at times, but then just sneaks in like one phrase, and you're like, wait, what did he just say? Or he'll just fly off the rails randomly, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's crazy. But then he goes back to being pleasant, and you're like, I kind of like this guy. And you're like, I don't know how to feel about you. And John Goodman does such a good job. And when the early reviews were coming out, people were like, John Goodman's so good, like this is his best role, Oscars, whatever. I was like, John Goodman, really? I mean, I like him, but John Goodman he's just a movie star, he's not like an actor. Holy shit, he does a good job in this movie. Like, seriously, he is insane good. And I love it. It's his best role I've ever seen John Goodman in. 5 stars. A+. John Goodman is really freaking good in this. So the other person in this movie is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Michelle, but most of you are going to know her as Ramona Flowers, which took me forever to figure that out, because it's like, I know that girl, but she doesn't have colored hair, so it threw me off. But yeah, she is so good in this movie, does a great job. She's very strong yet vulnerable, and plays off the situation really well. She's basically thrown in this bunker and is told there's a problem with the world. But of course she's not going to trust John Goodman because he kidnapped her, so why would he? But then things happen where maybe he's not crazy, but is he crazy? And she doesn't know what to do, and so, it's just trying to work with this world, and does just a fantastic job. Is just this really strong, awesome character, and she's always a good actor, and she definitely plays it well in this as well. She's just so good, really good. I can't say much without going into spoilers, so we're gonna move on to the third guy in this. That's John Gallagher Jr., who plays Emmett, and he's kind of like this weird in-between, impressionable, kind of weak-willed guy where John Goodman tells him something, so he's on John Goodman's side. Then Michelle tells him something, so then he's on Michelle's side. And he's just kind of back and forth, but plays it really well as this in-between person between the protagonist and the antagonist. So he just does a really good job playing that role and being this in-between awesome character. And that's pretty much it for actors. It's just three people. And that's the best way that this links to Cloverfield. Again, no spoilers, but it's a very small picture, or a very small image of this big picture that's going on. Like, it's just these people's story within this whole thing that's going on. And that's all I can tell you. That's it. So I can't hold it in anymore. Spoiler time. Signs up everywhere. Spoilers. Stop here, click both these. I'm going to put up 2 this time to go past the spoilers if you just want to go to my wrap up and see my overall thoughts. But please come back because I have some really good theories about 10 Cloverfield Lane. Are you still here? Are you just here for spoilers now? All right, spoiler time. Holy shit, everything's going on in this movie. Like, when the end happens and you see that it is aliens coming in, you're like, holy shit. And it was this moment of, back in one of my old IT jobs, we had this ongoing joke of, can it be both? And what the idea was is people would be like, am I retarded or is this computer broken? And we're just like, can it be both? And that's where it kind of fits. Like, is John Candy crazy or is there an alien invasion? Can't it be both? And it is both. Like, he was crazy, but there is also aliens. And it's so good. I love that you don't see them very much. It's kind of this cool idea of you don't know the character design. And it's very well done how they've kept this under wraps. And I think it's a great payoff to this movie. Now, a lot of people have been saying that this isn't the Cloverfield sequel and that they just put Cloverfield on it as a marketing ploy. I disagree. I think this is a Cloverfield sequel. No, it's not the direct, like, you see the monster again, or you see, like, HUD or whatever run around in the background. But I think it's this big alien invasion, and you're only seeing these small glimpses into this huge thing that's going on. My theories are, John Goodman says in this movie, he's explaining how you would do an invasion. And he talks about how you would take out the big populous centers, which would make sense that you would drop the big monsters into the big cities and let them just destroy them. So they just drop the aliens drop their big monster into New York and let him just take it out. That's backed up by the fact at the end of the first Cloverfield, there's this really cool shot, which I freaking love, at the very, very end when it's showing the recording before the monster attacked, and they're on the Ferris wheel, and you see something fall from the sky and hit the ocean. And like that's the aliens just beginning their invasion and dropping in their beginning destroying forces. And I kind of see like these aliens sort of look similar in a lot of ways. So I think that's what it is. It's this big invasion going on that, we're only getting small glimpses into. J.J. Abrams says he's already has an idea for a third one and how he wants to play out. And I think that's going to be our answers in how this all goes together and how it all wraps up. But I do think it is actually a sequel. It's not just throwing Cloverfield on it. This is a Cloverfield movie. All right, so let's get into my wrap-up. So welcome back if you wanted to skip spoilers. So my overall thoughts on the movie. So first off, I think I forgot to mention this. This is not found footage at all. This is more of a traditionally filmed movie, which is fine and it fits great and it does a really good job. Everyone's on their A game in these performances. It's so well done. John Goodman's great. Ramona Flowers is fantastic. The whole time you're on edge, like what is going on? And you don't get answers. And I like I said, I love movies like that where you don't get the answers. Like you just get your theories and you think of stuff and you fill in the gaps. And I love that about this. And you don't know what's going on, but you want to know. So you're kind of interacting with it and you're like, whoa, what's that mean? What's that mean? It's so good and just really done really freaking well. This is a really good movie. Check it out. It's a very much a thriller rather than a horror movie this time. Like I said before, it's like Misery. It's a lot like Misery. Like it's this thriller of what's going to happen, what's going on kind of thing. So in the vein of keeping everything under wraps and spoiler free, here's my rating. On a scale from to, I'm going to give it a So there you go. 10 Cloverfield Lane, fantastic. Check it out. I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard, and until next time, hold on to your hold slots.